I'm on the subway with the suitcase full of lights in my sophomore year, like cause and with
Working.
my working working like cause for me too, if you ever get the chance to be around me,
Yeah.
way also the way I practice my art, it's just like if I'm like the janitor, custodian, I got like this blue collar style. Like I'm not one of those photographers who show up late,
Hmm.
coffee in hand, who dress a certain way.
Hmm.
Like I'll like if I was to show you what's just on my back, I got a pair of gloves.
Hmm.
Like I practice my art as if I'm like working on the job, so to speak. So like I don't because also it's a physical art
Hmm.
where you gotta like I treat it like all right, yo, I'm going to work, so I gotta carry my equipment.
Hmm.
You know, I gotta I'm on set because of how low the budget is. Because I'm one of those photographers. I don't want to be pay- if I get an assistant, I don't want to be paying them like $200 because what's $200 gonna get you? But
Hmm.
I'm like, if I get a big enough budget, I'm gonna be able to give the assistant enough money where they sustain. So because
Hmm.
the budgets are so small, like I know how to put up my own sets. I know how to build a set from scratch
Hmm.
by myself. So like I like motherfuckers tell you I'll show up in like like Dickies pants and shit, and I'll be putting up my own set, and
Hmm.
I'll even in the winter. You know, one thing though, in the winter I don't wear any jackets because I like jackets for me they fucking
So
too
you
hot
just be
for
out there. Well, I guess because you're doing so much, your body heat is cool,
yeah
but whew,
yeah yeah. So like they'll see like I'll show up on set. I'll be putting up. I'm sweating before the photo shoot even starts.
yeah.
So, but the but yeah, but like it got to the point where it was like, we want you to photograph our like anything we're a part of,
Mhm.
like brand, like if they got like a brand that's represented, they're like, yo, can you shoot this for me this day? Yeah,
Mhm.
sure, no problem. Boom, boom, boom. And the one thing too, because I was doing it for free or whatever, got like these guys that was photographing, it's like, yo, let me pay you a little something. I was like, nah, it's cool, it's cool.
Mhm.
They're like, nah, I want to pay you because yo, you looking out for us,
Mhm.
you doing a service for us because like long after we're gone, ain't nobody gonna remember. We want something to look back on and everything.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, but based on like that, when I practice my art, I I, I come from I do like a blue collar mindset and
You do it with a
attitude.
mindset like this is my time to really show my effort like it's your first. Like that
Yeah,
kind of like when an artist puts out their first album, how a lot of people are like that was their best album
yeah,
because that
yeah,
hunger was there. But
yeah,
what you have in your work when you show up for people is you have it like this is your first time. And
yeah,
that's something all creators need to keep because I feel like once you lose that and you feel like, oh, I have enough money for assistance, so I just have to pull up in my Uber and then I'll just start taking pictures, you lose that appreciation for yourself
right,
of how you got there. And it makes you assume out of an egotistical level that every picture I take today is going to be the one. And
right,
no, you're relaxing as if nobody's coming up behind you to
right.
also be greater than your last.
Right, right. Like even whether it's personal or client work, I
Yeah.
treat everything like it's my first name. Like even with this new personal project I got, like I said, with the guns and shit.
Mhm.
Like it's crazy because the group I had photographed who work I started showing because it's gonna be like a couple more posts following that. But
Mhm.
I had talked to these guys a year out because they came to New York and it was like, yo, we want to work with you in some sort of capacity, we got to figure it out. And then a year later, you know, I came up with Black Mind Any Weapon, and as soon as they
Mhm.
saw that, it was like, "Yo, we'll get you to Nashville.
Mhm.
We'll put you up. Blah blah blah. We want to be a part of it." And you know, I get to Nashville, and you know, I'm like, all right, damn, I got to make this. Like, all I'm thinking about on the flights, damn, how am I gonna do this? Um,
Mhm.
how am I gonna make this shit look dope and still inform people? Even after we made the artwork, I spent, man, when I tell you, this is why I don't sleep. It's been on my mind.
I
All right,
know
what
you
am I?
weren't, because that's a lot. And when
Yeah,
you have that momentum Sleep is like the last thing you're really thinking about.
Yeah, because even too, I like when I even like with the captions I write, I'd be up thinking about, all right, how am I going to say this? How am I going to word it in a way
Mhm,
where it's going to make sense and not, you know, because for me, when I write captions, I like I think about folks like you and
mhm,
other who are going to read it and like who I want to make sure I get it right.
mhm,
Whatever I write, I get it right. Like with the art, I can interpret art is subject, but I'm like at least with the academic part, with the written part, I got to get that right.
mhm.
Not for like the so-called college sake, but for like people who are engaged in this level of work. How can so like I'm
Yeah,
always like these last couple of days I've been like it's been fucked up in my mind. All right, how am I gonna say this? How am I gonna
mhm.
interpret it in a way where like what I'm working on not just is like something people can rally behind, but they can also like, all right, damn, he covered that. He did talk about that. Especially in a time frame where we're watching oppressed people finally saying enough is enough with colonialism, doing
Mhm,
something about it,
mhm.
or, or just in general, any subject I photograph, any subject matter, I'm always like I always also lose sleep. Aside from making the artwork, I also lose sleep over what I write about
That's
because
why
I
I
never
go to sleep every day at 3 a.m. in the next day
yeah
because I'm somebody might not tell me, "Chantal, you need to do this," but in my mind, I'm just like, "Chantal, did you show up enough for yourself today? Is there a little bit more creativity in there? Let's spill it." And by the time I look up, it's 2 a.m., you know?
right.
Um, I don't want you to lose that. That's good. But as you get older, listen to your body because I think a part of what depletes people early is them not letting your body rest.
Yeah, and that's been a problem. I'll admit it. That's been a problem of mine
Mhm,
since leaving the military because you always, especially in a place like the Marine Corps,
mhm,
especially on the war fighting side of the house, you're always trained. You're always preparing for war. You're always
mhm,
training, always preparing. You're always in the books. You're always
mhm.
physically training. So you know, all habits tend to die hard. So I've been pushing the pace on that. Like a typical day, like especially in 2024, ever since
Mhm.
everything opened back up, like by 4 a.m. I'm up. By 5:30, by hold on, by 5 o'clock, between the hours of 5 and 5:30, I'm in the
Yeah.
gym. I don't leave the gym until 7, 8 o'clock. Then I come back, shower, change over. I'm either editing
Mhm.
or I'm reading or I'm taking call. Like I don't fall asleep till and because one due to my insomnia, and then also depending on how busy the day is, I'm not asleep until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And
You
then
can't do that! That's crazy!
and then on days I can't sleep, because there are days I don't sleep.
Yeah.
There's days I don't sleep because again, dealing with insomnia. Like it's crazy. I'll stay up for a full 24 to 40 hours and still make it to the gym by 5 o'clock.
I did
Which
that
which
after college, I did that.
yeah,
Um, and I got to a point where I was exhausted. Like, when I left New York, of course, I could have talked to this friend or talked to that friend to see if I could stay, sleep on your couch, and try to grind it again. My body was tired. From 16 till 28, I worked 3 jobs every year and went to school full time for 4 years in that.
so that was my life when I was in college. I was
That's crazy to keep doing. You have to try teas. I know some people don't want to take meds. You have to try teas, up your magnesium, um, eating a banana before bed. And I didn't understand this as a kid. I just thought my mom didn't want me in her room. You're bedding as a fucking adult.
It's so crucial.
Put the money in your bedding. I'm telling you, a feather
You know,
topper have you sleep in like 5 minutes. It
you know
feels like
what?
women's titties at church. It's a safe
Yeah,
place.
it's a safe place. Cause now, you know what? It's now because now I'm realizing that like I because I'm used to sleeping. Like I put it this way: you could put me on the floor, and
A
because of
military by any means
yeah,
necessary mind.
right, because of the way I've been, whatever. I'm like, even as a kid, sleep on the floor. It's nothing.
Let
It's
me
like
tell you, as a black man, you deserve to be comfortable. As a black man taking care of his body, going to the gym like you're going to the gym, you deserve to lie down, sit in, especially a comfortable sofa, because when you're editing, you're sitting. Like the amount of chairs I have in my house, you probably think I had a problem. But every chair needs to feel a certain way for me to want to sit in it over a period of time to do long hours because especially me having like two car accidents and me going to the chiropractor, me being comfortable is very important. You using your body for the years that you used your body is very important. You standing, taking pictures of people is very important. You don't want to get to a point where you're just like, I want to do work, but my body is uncomfortable because our bodies do get uncomfortable. And sleep is where it's at. Sleep is where it's
that.
at for your skin. You know, you got to keep that chocolate skin popping. Sleep is where it's at for your back, for your arms, for your mind. And I think that's probably your thing where if your sleep was on point, do you understand how like you would be throughout the day?
Yeah, like yeah, and that's what I'm slowly working on. Cause like
Mhm,
when I tell you, even like all right, this insomnia thing, like I've experienced from after the uh first deployment, right?
mhm,
I started not like at most, even to this day, I'm getting a little better at, it, but at most, like
mhm,
I can survive off of 3 hours of sleep, 3 whole hours daily, right? So even in college, even in college, I would I would not sleep like I because me also I had the early morning classes, so like
mhm.
I'm like first one in the chair. I would not like on on average, yeah, 3 to 4 hours maybe.
Same with me. I used to go to the airport the night before the next day. I would shower, get ready, ask my boyfriend at the time to drop me off at the airport because I wasn't driving. I was taking the
Yeah,
train. I would sit in the airport with my school stuff, looking like I was waiting for a flight.
yeah,
The first train left out of there at 5:30. I would take that to my job that was down the street from my college, do a floor move, leave out of there with enough time for me to go to my first class and have 3 classes, come back and
mhm,
do another shift. You could do that in your 20s, and then your body's going to tell you, "I'm done."
yeah. Like right now, like my body, although I still push it, because again,
Mhm,
like up here is crazy. So like not like but like programmed to like operate
mhm.
um nonstop. So but like my body, because during the pandemic, it was like, all right, no, you got to sit down for a while. Like you could still make your art, but
Mhm.
like nah, we gotta chill. We gotta chill for a while because you ran this car on the ground. So,
Yeah.
but it's don't let me have to fly out. I don't sleep the night. I gotta fly out.
Me either! I'll be wide awake.
Wide awake. Like I'll like oh man, like when I had even for this
Yeah.
project, like I like because I had and it wasn't a bad flight neither. It was like
Mhm.
it was a 9 a.m. flight. That night I will not sleep. I was like, yo,
Mhm.
I'll turn off everything. I'll put my computer in a bag. And next thing you know, I'm up playing Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with
And
me?
I always come to the airport early. I
Early.
I hate being on time. I'm a before time person. I don't
Yeah,
care. And so a turn off for me a lot of times is late people or people who last minute shit that costs money or other people are dependent on you.
yeah. Like
Ugh.
like if somebody pays for a flight for me
Mhm.
or I'm doing client work and they pay for a flight, Oh no, I get there 2 hours before anything. 2 hours
Mhm.
before. That's always my thing. 'Cause I'm
Mhm.
like, in case some because when you live in you know this when you live in New York City, shit can happen.
Oh
This
yeah,
shit
yeah, yeah.
happens quickly. So yeah, like if somebody pays a flight for me, which is 90% of the time.
Mhm.
Oh no, I don't play that being late shit. I'm like, yo, I'm 2 hours early. He like, "Yo, why you get here so early? I'm like, I respect people's
My family
time
hates it. Like, Shan, you ain't gotta. I don't care. I don't care. I
because
have a family of Jamaicans.
yeah,
They come 2, 3 hours after something started. I don't do that.
yeah, and even like operating in war, like there's shit. All right, yo, you got to be here at this time. You got to
Mhm.
be at like for example, like doing a raid. All right, cool. We got to patrol out. We got to be here before 6 a.m. We got to
Mhm.
be. Right? It's just like I value people's time and I value people's money. Because
Same.
I'm like, if it was me, if it, like when people fly me out to make like with this project,
Mhm.
I was like, all right, I got to figure out. They was like, nah, we'll fly you in, we'll put you up. I was like, shit, for real? All right, yo, say less. I made sure my ass was at the airport. Like the flight was at 9. I was at the
Mhm.
airport at 5 o'clock. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm not playing because these are people's money.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of my shit. Like, and I tell this to anybody, anytime you bring me on for something, whether you want to take part of my project or you're doing client
Mhm.
work, I don't fuck around about people's money. I'm like, yo, I will be there before the time. Like
Mhm.
even on client shit, if I got to do a studio shoot, I'll be outside while the gate's still closed. I have my I'll be like, yo, they be like, yo, you didn't have to come that early. I was like, no, because this is y'all money that
My kind of people, okay? My
yeah.
kind of people. All right.
Even
So
even even if it's something like going out, like and
yeah,
we just having a good time,
same,
I'll be
same.
the only time I'm all right, I will say the only time I'm late
Mhm.
is in the in the past I've been worse about this.
Mhm.
If I have to go out on a date, right? I'll
Wait on a date?
I cause some like it's I don't know
No.
why. I don't know why it is. It's just
Are you an overthinker?
that's why I don't sleep. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
an overthinker. Like
See,
it's
this is why I
ridiculous.
don't call things dates because you don't know how that might deal like mess with some people. I just like I'll hit people with like, "You want to go here to eat?" And they be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, meet me here, and then we'll go
Yeah,
there." And I just make it very like lax. If later on when we're talking about when we went to that place, you want to call that a date, cool. But I'm not going to initiate like calling something, let's go on a date because me
yeah,
personally, I hate dates. I hate this idea that you're coming in here thinking I'm going to present myself to you in a way because we're on a date. Um,
right,
why can't we just go out to eat? Why can't we just go to this concert? Why can't we
right.
just meet at the park type
That's
shit?
it.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I take
yeah,
that shit out of it because I don't want you to have this expectation of something that is not about to happen.
right, right. But everything else,
Mhm,
even if we're gonna go do some crazy shit,
mhm.
I'll be on time for that. But
Yeah.
like because again, I value people's time and money,
Mhm,
except like if it's like something. But what I do though, if I'm late, I'll call ahead. I'll be like, look, listen, I'm late, stuck here. This is where I'm at. So
same.
if by some chance you let me know if you gonna go home, so I could
Mhm,
just turn this bitch around.
mhm,
But if not, all right, I'm on the way.
mhm,
I'll do that at least. But with clients or people I'm working with, like if we're
mhm,
creating this art thing, oh nah, I'm super early. Like I like to the point, like I said, like on shoot days, I'll get up extra early. Like,
mhm,
okay, if I'm out of state, I'll get up extra early. Like with this project that got me to Nashville, I was up out the bed by 4 a.m. Like I'm an early riser.
mhm.
So 4 a.m. I'm out the bed, teeth brushed, everything. I'm, if I gotta make emails, if I got, because also too, when I do client work, I gotta fill out invoices or whatever. But
Mm,
on average, I'm up by 4 a.m. So I'll be playing with people's time. Like when it's time, when it's like 2 hours before I gotta hit somewhere, I'll make
mm,
sure, hey, look, I'm out, I'm gone. I'll be outside the gate or by the door. They like, yo, why'd you come here so early? You ain't have to, blah
mm.
blah. It's all good. Even when I gotta submit work, right? Like whether it's with the project or I was like, yo, how? It was like, yo, how? I'll ask them, when do you need when do you need this artwork? They're like, nah, take your time this week. First thing I'm like, no, 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 don't tell me that.
Don't tell me that.
When, don't tell me that. When do you need this by? They'll be like, give me a week. I'll have it to them 3 days later. They was like, yo, you didn't have to do
That's
that,
how
but I
I
was like,
am
no.
too.
I was like, nah, don't play with me because if I take a week, y'all gonna be
Mm,
complaining.
yeah.
Yo, where's the artwork? Blah blah. I was like, yo, always when you need it. I'm very when it comes to my whole practice, I'm just like,
Anthony, this episode is not coming out probably till September. We are in
that's fine.
July. That's how I am. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I'm not comfortable being any other way, so that's fine.
you're right.
But I'm not going to let you say something else because I'm going to ask you the next question because I feel like you're going to say it. Do you have any artists or photographers that inspired you growing up in this business as a kid or that you saw and learned about later?
Okay, as a kid, no,
Mhm.
because I was still getting acclimated.
Yeah.
I didn't learn about photographers until after high school.
Mhm.
So, like, so I'd say once I got into college, because some also too happened in college where um, they were forcing us to learn. Say, yeah, that's where it
Ah,
gets shitty.
yeah.
Because part of the college's training photographers, they expected you to learn about 100 photographers in the span of 4 weeks, and then you take an exam. Yeah, you have to memorize their name and their work, the type of
Mhm.
the work that they do, and
Mhm.
then uh, take a memorization test.
That
And they were
stuff
all
like that goes in my mind and out the other side.
so that's so that's so that's what happened to me. So
Okay.
and they were all white photographers. So I was like, all right, this is the part of education.
Boring. It's just like when I see art from like the 1400s into the 1600s.
Boring,
Like what?
boring. So like part of so instinctively life has like led me to like go
Mhm.
look at other artists. Like of course, got your Gordon Parks, like you
Yeah.
got which I think everybody like
Mhm.
every black photographer's point started at Gordon Parks.
Mhm.
Also for me, it was like Eli Reed,
Okay.
Robert Houston, uh, Carrie Mae Weems, Deanna Lawson,
Mhm.
um, even folks today like Devin Allen,
Mhm.
kid out of Baltimore. Love love everything about him. So like just my Rolodex is filled with black photographers: Latoya Frazier,
Mhm.
a couple of people I know like Stephanie May Ling. Um, those are just the start, and I got like a. When I say my memory's all shot to shit, it's all shot to shit. But those are some of the photographers like I like in my
Mhm.
that I've looked up to, not only because of their work, but also because these are folks that were never afraid of their own blackness, and
Mhm.
that that like talked about their life experience. Like uh, with Devin Allen, what makes him so special, why I got him up there with a lot of people is because yo, this this young man, he wasn't school trained or anything, but he took he took like his phone or whatever. Th- There's a time cover of this black man running from the police.
Mhm.
That's him. He
Mhm.
did that as a quote unquote amateur photographer.
Mhm.
Basically took what he was interested in and made history defining art that ties to our struggle. And for like, and I've been following his work, and I'm like, yo, the fact that he's not school trained, the
Mhm.
fact that he's not this quote unquote college kid, but he just took an art form that he loved,
Right,
and he stood in the gap for his own community in
right,
Baltimore. He championed his own people. I'm like, that's more impressive to me uh than Rob Frank or any of these other white photographers or whatever. I'm like, that's he's following the same footsteps as like Gordon Parks and who came up under Gordon Parks. I'm like,
mhm,
that's the that's the type of photographer like I want to like I'm a fan of. Like he like
mhm.
again, not school. He took his phones and made these quote unquote amateur pictures, and the world was able to see what Baltimore was going through his eyes. I was
It
like,
made
man,
you feel like you were there.
right. It made you
Yeah,
feel like you were there, and to see him not only do that numerous times, but Baltimore really got behind him with Under Armour, giving him a job and everything, and he's still practicing as if it, he's still doing his art as if he was fresh, fresh from being on the front lines in his city.
mhm,
I'm like, man, that's like, and that's the type of photographers I like getting behind. And you got some other photographers like there's a guy out of I think he's out of UK, black artist. His name is Gabriel Moses or whatever. I gotta
mhm,
um he does a lot of fashion. He does a lot of fashion work that on a that like if you didn't know me, you would think it would be my work. But
mhm.
his name is Gabriel Moses. Yeah, he's out of I think he's out of the UK. But like the
I'm
way he
gonna look
approaches
him up.
fashion, yeah, the way he approaches I guess a portraiture. And he like in the world of portraiture, you got everything is beautiful and it's like everything is clean. Where you look at his work, it's the antithesis of that. It's clean, but it's dark. It's filled with shadow. It's filled with mystery, and he's photographing basically black people.
Mhm,
And like so, like those photographers, like those, and there's two other photographers. It's Ruddy Roy, um, he's Jamaican. I think he lives in Cleveland now.
mhm,
His work is socially aware. I like it because he was the one who, when I was coming up, because there's this program called the Eddie Adams Workshop.
mhm,
If you don't know who Eddie Adams is, he's a photojournalist. Uh, he's worked for newspapers. He's photographed this who's who, and before that he was a Marine.
mhm,
So because of his because he wanted to see the next generation of photojournalists, come up and do well, he created this workshop in upstate New York called the Eddie Adams Workshop. You only get up there by invite only, so
mhm,
they judge you based on the merit of your portfolio. So I got in after like three tries, after three attempts, sending my work up there so I can get in. And I never forget Ruddy Roy because he got up there on the day before, like I guess the award show. After every program they have an award show, whatever. So he got up there the day before. Was he got up there fresh off of photographing. I think the 60th anniversary of the Million Man March.
mhm.
And when I tell you that was the first time I seen white people's jaw on the floor, because he gave a talk about knowing who you photograph
Mhm.
in regards to white people photographing black people, having black people in their art, but they not knowing their struggle, their pain, everything about them. And man, the way he shut down that room, only it was me and like two other black photographers, like just carrying on as if nothing had happened. Everybody
Mhm.
else, because he basically was like, "Yo, y'all don't. This industry is so predatory as far as photographers. Y'all don't understand who your subjects are. I hate
Mhm.
referring to people's subjects, but he's like, y'all need to take time out to understand about
You
black
set them
people,
straight.
set them straight. Like, yo, I was like, damn. I was like, yo, I was like, yo, it was almost as if like Farrakhan was in the room. Almost, I was like,
It's
yeah,
like being at your friend's house and they about to get their ass whooped.
yeah, yeah, and Mayu is I'm in a sea full of white photographers that's like
Yeah.
college or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, speak on, yeah, yeah. I'm feeling that fire.
Yeah.
So I got up with him. I talked to him. And then I met him. I saw him again at the New York Times. Usually have this portfolio review. He was the only one that out of all the reviewers I had, and it was mainly white ones. He was the only
Mhm.
reviewer that looked at my work and was like, "Yo, you have a lot of culture in your work. I need
Mhm.
you to. You should start writing about it." That's why I got these long
Mm.
ass captions. See how everything. So
Yeah.
he got me to start really looking at what I was photographing and start writing about it. He was like,
Mhm.
"I want you to get in the practice of writing about your work because you have so much in your photographs that I think you should start communicating to your audience about what it is you're photographing, why you're photographing it, what it means to you, what it means to them, what it should mean to them,
Mhm.
um, what role does it play in everything." And mind you, at the time, I was showing him pictures of like what I was doing on the street ball level and what I was doing in other sports around blackness and he was like, "Yo, you got to start writing about what you're photographing," and that
Mhm.
also led me to start. All right, I gotta expand this thing. I just can't photograph sports. I gotta photograph other things. So he put that intellectual bug. He gave me more game than the 4 years of college could have did for me. And then
SLV.
and then the other person is Jamel Shabazz. It's funny because
Mhm.
with Jamel, I always looked at his work from the outside. It wasn't until
Mhm.
the pandemic he started reaching. Because I follow him, but he reached out to me
Mhm.
on Instagram. It was
Mhm.
like, "Yo, blah blah," and I didn't know. Like, I knew he was a serviceman because I didn't know like how deep he was in the military with his military career. But yeah, we chopped it up, and then crazy enough, the thing that me and Maddie created would represent. We I finally got the chance to meet Jamel in person, and man, I wish more black people got the chance to talk with Jamel because
Mhm.
he's not your he he's not your prototypical artist. Like oh man, the things we talked about, the we went from talking about him being God body to yeah, yeah. See, nobody. See?
I see. I love talks like that with people because having a predetermined idea of what this person is going to be like
Yeah,
and them not being that and them being like something more out the box, it makes them much more interesting.
yeah. Because it's like we went from he's been in the military. He's been a corrections officer at Rikers in the time after crack.
Mhm.
Him being God body, him having all these views about the world. I was like, yo, this living legend. I'm talking with him, and mind you, me and him, like, we be on the phone on average. Every time we have a conversation, we be on the phone for at least a good 3 or 4 hours
Oh, you don't
talking,
say. Okay.
right? And I'm like, and I'm sitting here like, who the fuck am I to be on the phone with this guy? But he's giving
Yeah.
me his time, and we always checking about each other. Hey, how's your life in your area, in your AO? We always use some military lingo. How's shit in your AO? He's like, I'm good. Yo, can I call you in a few years? Sure, no problem. Like I said, anybody I admire or
Mhm.
friends with or whatever the case may be, like I always take like I said, I'll clear out my like with Jamel. I make sure I'm not working. I'm
Mhm.
not doing anything. So because I'm like this guy who has a crazy resume who I like because I hold in high regard as high as like any black
Because there's
photographer.
so much to learn and
Right. And
absorb. And people with that, you don't want to limit your time with them because it feels like you stole from yourself.
yeah, like even with this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like I just feel like yeah, I'm you don't want to rush that. You don't want to
Mm.
like put a time restraint on that. You don't want to be like, oh damn, all right, yo, let me let you go. I'm like, no, we're gonna have this conversation
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
today.
yeah.
I'm not eating. I'm not like me and him like it was one night me and him had a conversation from 8 to midnight, 8 to midnight about everything, about
Mhm.
life, how he sees it. I'm like, yo, I was like, yo, I wish people, but because also he's not like he's outgoing, but he's not like fully outgoing, so people don't know these things. I'm like, man, we like hell. There'll be one night we talk about like certain shit we see in society that the military have done that now we see repeating. Like yo, I'm picking this guy's brain. And he even to the point he's like, yo, I appreciate you even calling. I was like,
Mhm.
shit. I appreciate you picking up the phone. I'm like, I
Yeah.
ain't shit compared to
Yeah.
you. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. So, but those are some of the photographers that influenced me.
Okay. All right. My next question: how would you describe your style of photography in your words?
The words I would use to describe my style of photography,
Yeah.
it is, I would describe it as gritty.
Okay.
I would describe it as honest
Mhm.
because earlier before, like if you want, if I guess like I've explained before, I do no correction work. So like I said, you show
Mhm.
up on set, scar, the scar's gonna stay. If you show up
Mhm.
on set with the pimple,
Mhm.
pimple's gonna stay.
Mhm.
It's that if you show up with half an arm, hey,
Yeah.
showed up with half an arm. I do my best to make sure whatever you see, whatever I see is what you see.
Mhm.
You know, whether it's portraiture or whether it's photojournalistic, I'm doing documentary, whatever. So gritty, honest, um, contrasty.
Mhm.
Uh, I would say it has a feeling of like you could. It's almost like you could taste the concrete.
Mhm.
Uh, and I would say it's a love letter to our people.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Next question. As a Thank you so much for watching this episode on YouTube. Shan and Pods. Yes, it's a channel. You can find it on chanbepoddin.com and the link in the show notes. And also, just so you know, if you're an audio listener, this episode is available on audio. Now back to the show. A BK native, I feel like a stylish aesthetic is embedded in people in that environment. Why do you love black and white photos like you do?
Okay, the reason why I love black and white photos, well,
Mhm.
to understand me, to understand what like my aesthetic,
Mhm.
my love of just the black and white aesthetic came from comic books.
Okay.
So particularly uh Punisher Max.
Mhm.
As weird as that sounds, because of the character's military background, the way they drew Punisher Max, like some variant covers were black and white. They had a bit of grit to them.
Mhm.
Even the color, even the color comic book covers from from that particular series. It had shadow. It was contrasty. I like shit like that. Even if you look at the black and white version of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, it's drawn in black and white.
Mhm.
Anything black and white like that's drawn or photographed, for me it's like it like I like it reaches to me. It's like it's I don't know. I guess because I like that sort of thing. Because
Mhm.
also um like I don't. It's even when I first started. Because all right, when I
Mhm.
first started photography too, I was also photographing toys. Like I got a bag of toys like Bruce Lee action figure,
Mhm.
and I would photograph. And the way I situate the light, like I make sure like couldn't see their eyes. All you
Mhm.
saw was their bodies and their like their mouth or whatever their
Mhm.
expressions. So like and even in life too, I got a bit of like I'm not like there's only a few people that know what I look like.
Mhm. That's
'Cause
like so I got the idea even from like tweeting and having conversation. I was like, I know he's very on top of like fitness. Um, I know he's very sure of himself. And then I went on your website one day. I was like, I feel like he's tall, but there's the way that you market yourself and the way that you show your work. There's no like, all right, let me give you like the lax insight of me. This is what I do on Tuesdays. This is where I like to eat. These are my friends. You're very private in your being yourself. And I was like, so
right,
this will be like, this is not my intro to him or introduction, but this is my first time like meeting him.
right.
I was like,
So yeah, like as a it's weird because as a kid I was like this too. Like I was
mm-hmm,
like very like private. Like
mm-hmm,
unless like you was like severely near to me,
mm-hmm,
you wouldn't like no one to like now we're like I feel like we're connected now. So
mm-hmm.
like I feel like you know more about me than like
Yes.
90% of people that associate themselves with me. So like yeah, I like from that's why I like black and white too because you can like it gives off a bit of mysteriousness,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
So
wonder of if this was in color, like what this would look like, what this would
yeah,
look like. And I feel like when it comes to drawings that are black and white, it gives you more appreciation for the details.
right. So
So
that's why I love that's what drew me, and also too first photos I made between that camera contest even all the way to my even even all the way to high school,
mhm,
like because they had us photographing on black and white film, so
mhm,
that stuck between that the comic
mhm,
books influence, um even like certain shows that even like certain TV programs and like me being a fan of being a fan of Batman the animated series and
mhm.
Gargoyle, right?
Gargoyles!
That
I used to love watching gargoyles with my brother.
right. So that was the only Disney show for me
Yeah.
because of how like it wasn't bright. It
Mhm.
wasn't it wasn't this loving moment. Like I've always been
It
intrigued by
wasn't like a cuddly family lovey
right.
cartoon. Like
It
if you drive through Philly downtown, and I pray that they don't tear down all these buildings, but if you look at their structures,
yes.
it's very like gargoyle-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even when it's even on like just everything that I love is like that I'm attracted to is like dark, mysterious, but
Mm,
it's like endearing, it's positive. Like
mm,
um like with black and white photography. It's
mm,
like you're like it takes the color out, it leaves the wonder, it leaves questions.
mhm,
It's like what does that look like in color or like why did this person photograph this and is he trying what is he was he taking away is there some so with those influences on top of
mhm,
like the photography influences that's what has led me to black and white and to the point like yes I do photograph stuff in color but like for me I treat like that Instagram is like a journal like yeah I'm gonna show you all this shit but I treat it as like what would you put in your journal and for me I feel like a lot of like my like if I like because yeah, I got a journal, but it's not filled with pictures, filled with words. But like if I had a photo journal, it would be with nothing but black and white pictures, just because being in love with that aesthetic all throughout, like between media, between both visual, everything, and like the way I sort of live. Like I said, if you like even down to clothing, like
mm.
you'll see in my wardrobe, I got nothing but black. nothing but black. There's only like two white shirts,
Yeah.
like when I go to the gym and whatever, and that's it. But other than that, like I wear black all through, black and blue. Like
Mhm.
make it a hint of red, make it a hint of blue.
Mhm.
Dark colors again coming from that aesthetic of dark and mysterious, and drawing
Okay.
all these cartoon characters in these shows, and
Mhm.
know, even down to being in the military. Like you know, one thing we get taught is how to how like blend into certain places, how like to not wear too much bright clothes or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's a mix of life in certain mediums I'm drawn to. So like you'll always see me with something black on, but the black shirt,
Mhm.
sneakers, the like the the pair of sneakers I got now, like it's like red, black, and green. Like you'll never see me wear a white pair of sneakers. You'll never see me. You'll never see me wear white socks. You'll never see
Yeah,
me wear anything white, even down to a suit. You'll always see me wear
that's
uh,
funny.
like just black. Like you look at my I can even I can pile up all the clothes and it'll be nothing but black.
Mm.
So that black and white aesthetic, that mysterious,
It's
that
within.
yeah.
Okay. What are your 2 favorite lenses to use and why?
Uh, two favorite lenses to use is the 24 to 70 f2.8 lens because it's a versatile lens. So
Mm.
I can if I want to do some photojournal, if I want to do any documentary work,
Mhm.
I could can do that. If I want to switch from that to doing just simple portraiture, I can do that. It's a very versatile lens.
Mhm.
You can I can be anywhere.
Mhm.
Like I could be in a tight space. Um like if I let's say I photograph uh like something as simple as like a community get together, like let's say a block party. I could be so wide open. I can photograph how large crowd is. I
Mhm.
can photograph like folks playing double dutch, such a short distance from where I'm at.
Mhm.
You could do a lot with that lens, so that's one of my favorite lenses. And then the other lens is 85 millimeter lens, whether it's 1.4 or 1.2,
Mhm.
because it really teaches you how to it's made for portraiture,
Mhm.
so you have to be really intentional on what you're putting in your frame, uh, whether you're photographing someone's face or you're photographing full body or
Mhm.
whatever. It like even if I take it out and try to use it as a journalistic lens,
Mhm.
teaches you how to put things. It limits you, so you have to be really intentional on what you're photographing, and if you have to use your feed or like, but it looks good. It looks really good. It looks almost dreamlike when you use it. Also, like I used it for the Prodigy photo shoot I did.
Mhm.
It really brings attention to who you are
Mhm.
as a person. And it's very detailed. It
I
allows
get
you
to
to
see
kind of
all the hairs on them on that.
yeah, like you can see all the hair. You can see
Mhm.
he's got dents in his face. You can see if he brushed his teeth this
Mhm.
morning. Blah blah. So it's really deep. It's
Yeah.
like it's one of those lenses I like. That's why I make sure I keep one in my pocket. Also, too, the third lens. I know you said two, but the third lens
Yeah.
is my 70 to 200 because I
Okay.
could. Reason being, I can be it like you could be at a far place, but you could still like you can make something look like like a toy set. You can make like so. Let's say like from my window, right?
Mhm.
Because when you Nostrand Avenue going north to south,
Right.
I could see like the whole the whole street. I guess the whole avenue.
Mhm.
So like every now and again when I'm home by myself, I like to shoot like the motorcycles running in and out the street. So
Mhm.
it allows you to not it'll allow like that lens allows you to be far away but still be close to whatever you photograph.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. All right. What is an impractical turnaround time for photos after a shoot?
Same day.
Woo! Did somebody ever ask you that?
Yep.
Crazy!
New York Times.
Wow!
Same day.
Oh,
Like you go out, you whatever you're photographing, they're like,
yeah,
nah, we need that same day. Same
that's
fucking day. Like
crazy.
everything I've done for the New York Times,
Yeah.
same day. The only time I got away with sending shit the day after was during the protests. Um, oh boy, oh yeah, that was the only time they gave me time to like really. All right, I
Mhm.
guess you can turn it around to us. Because I told him I was like, look, listen, I'm in Brooklyn. We ain't got no Starbucks here. Ain't no coffee shops I
Right.
can run into. And I'm like, I'm gonna be out here all day because a lot is going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be able to turn this shit around same day. So
Okay.
y'all just gonna have like, yeah. I need my 2 days. Everything else has been, even the shoot I did with Mello and Mero. It was like,
Mhm.
yo, we need that like quick turnaround. So
Mhm.
um, Getty also. Like when I used to shoot boxing a lot for Getty,
Mhm.
after the main event, it was like, yo, you gotta turn, you gotta submit those photos. So it was literally finding because the nice thing about working in arenas, they always have a room for media room. So
Mhm.
um, you usually gotta find a desk
Mhm.
somewhere to sit, and then you gotta crank away. So I'm looking through like when I used to shoot boxing actively,
Mhm.
it was like looking through 3,000 photos,
Mhm.
picking out from those 3,000.
It's a lot.
You got to make sure like everything
Yeah.
got to crop in or whatever, and then you got to write captions for every last
Mhm.
picture. And then after you write captions for every last picture, you got to export them to a folder, you gotta you gotta send it through their FTP service, which is like it's peer to peer.
Mhm.
So imagine, so after the boxing event, like because usually I would shoot at the Barclays.
Mhm.
So after the main event is done, which is around 1 o'clock,
Mhm.
I won't be done working because then I'll have to go downstairs to the media room, sit there, edit. So I won't. I would be done till like 3 a.m. and then I'm home by and then I'm home by like because I live closer to Barclays too, so I won't be home until around 3:30, 4 o'clock. But
You ever you ever did a shoot and submitted photos and then when it came out you wish you submitted one that you didn't add in?
uh, what do you mean?
So like let's say you don't send all the photos to who's getting them and you're the one that's picking what photos they're getting. Have you ever given photos and wish you added one in that you didn't add in?
Nah, because I usually keep some in a reserve in
Okay.
case there's a time where it's like I gotta capitalize on.
Mhm. I
So
know you got hella hard drives, cause what?
I got I got at least 9 hard drives from 2013 to now,
Wow.
and then I got shit in the cloud. So whatever I don't have up in the cloud is in
Mhm.
hard drives. So yeah, like there's a lot. There's a lot that people haven't seen. Like that's why too I'm putting out these series of street ball
Mhm.
books because this man, even picking through that, there's still shit people haven't seen.
Um, not to take a dark turn, but
Now let's take a dark turn.
legally, I want you to do whatever paperwork you can to make sure those hard drives and work gets put in the right person's hands.
Yeah, that's I got yeah,
You know what I'm
because I got
saying?
I got I gotta find like if I don't have children,
Mhm.
knock on wood,
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to do that. Either way, I'm gonna
Even
have to do that.
now, you know,
Even
anything.
now, yeah, that's gonna have to. Yeah, because there's a lot of work in there that I think, um, and I don't want that work to be in.
Exploit it because people will
Yeah,
exploit it, especially when it comes to Black people's work. They don't give a fuck about us or appreciate us while we're living and striving. When
you're right.
we go, and it's
Yeah,
just like, what?
like I'm gonna have to do what Bruce Wayne did in The Dark Knight Rises
Mhm.
when, like, before he left, he gave he certain assets. People. So there's gonna be a set of instructions like, yo,
Yes.
this hard drive, like these hard drives go to this
Hmm.
or you know what? Too, if I can't get them to a certain person, I'm probably gonna find an institution and put them. And
A
I'm like, yo,
school,
a
something for the
school,
youth.
yeah, something
Yeah.
because like there's work in there that okay, like for example, the stuff I did in 2020, I gave a good chunk of that work to the Brooklyn Public Library.
Mm.
They asked for it. They was like, "Yo, we want to put this in our archives,
Hmm.
permanent archives, because they're like, we can use this to teach future generations
Hmm.
about what transpired, what led to
Hmm.
this and everything." So it's crazy. That's the only place. That was the only institution that. Because also too with that work, I was like, I don't want to make. I don't want to. I don't want to rightly profit or
I
benefit
was just
from
about to
this
ask
work.
you that. I was about to ask you, do they have the only say on that work, or can you also use it?
Yeah, I could use it, but it's like because they. All right, I'll put it this way: they they can use it for because they have the absolute say in what educational because uh with the Brooklyn Public Library, I understand that's a historic place, but I have other copies of that same work,
Hmm.
so it's just a matter of other institutions wanting to get that.
Okay.
So um if like let's say the Schomburg wanted that archive,
Hmm.
they can have it. I'll be able to give it to them. If and I wish more we had more black institutions. You know what I'm saying?
And
Because
that's what we talked about earlier would help.
it would help because I because even giving it to a place like the Brooklyn Public Library, which we don't own, right? I mean, I gave it to them because I was like, all right, I know at least with the library they're gonna teach this, they're
Yeah.
gonna teach about this moment. But in the perfect world, if the Schomburg, if we have more institutions like the Schomburg that was like, yo, we see the work that you're doing, we want to put it in our archive.
Mm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But see that this is why again to our point, these art buyers, these collectors, these uh, these black billionaires, they need to put their money in archive shit
Mhm.
rather than just like, yeah, we're just gonna do this exhibition at this Brooklyn museum, which we do not own, and these people gonna that are not us are gonna own this work or keep this work. I would like we have more of our and even the what's that museum in DC, the African American museum?
I don't know it. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, do we own that?
I don't know.
No, right?
And,
Because
and,
I
and this is another thing too. Even if we did own these spaces, or if you left it to us, that goes back to us not having a price for them.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can set up to give to each other,
right,
and out of our own ignorance, and you're not around, we sell to the people you were trying to avoid. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So that value and that standard system has to be embedded into the person you pass it off to.
right. Which is going which this is the other thing that's been keeping me up is like, all right, yo, if the worst happens,
Hmm.
if or I mean, because at some point we will leave this earth. I'm like,
Yeah,
who can I give this work to?
yeah.
Right? In the case I don't have kids or whatever, or grandchildren I could pass this off to. Even with the grandchildren too, because I see. a lot of people's grandchildren, they selling off their grandparents and their parents' houses, and I'm like, for what the fuck are y'all
And
doing?
that's why Brooklyn looks like it looks.
Yeah, because I'm like, and I understand like not wanting that responsibility, but I'm like, at least keep the damn shit, like, because too. We also look at what we have as like merely investments
Mm.
rather than like for example with the house situation, right? I'm like, people look at it as an investment rather than, all right, yo, this is gonna be part of like our like heritage. Like this house is gonna be like, yo, this is our like personal like Schauenberg, our
Mm.
personal like like they don't look like, I guess people today don't look at it at they like the way America's engineered folks is like housing is merely an investment
Yeah.
rather than something like it's for your family.
Mhm.
So they just sell it off because to them is not as
It's
important.
just
Like
a
me,
house. You could get another one. Da, da, da,
yeah.
da.
Like if somebody gave me like if a relative of mine was like, yo, I got a house in Brooklyn. It's yours if you want it. I'm like, whatever. I'm doing whatever I can to not sell it because I'm like, it's part of my family. And
Mhm.
I'm like, yo, you got a fucking house. Why? Why the fuck would you want to sell it to get an apartment? You got a house fully paid
But just like
for.
you said, a lot of people don't want that responsibility because it is a huge responsibility.
It
Like
is
the way that I look at a house to own at 37 is not like I looked at a house at 25. You know what I'm
true.
saying? And when I talk to people, because I work in the insurance industry, the way that they got people who have pensions, social security, and retirement crying about an $18 bill because they don't have it and they own shit.
Yeah.
It looks like it makes you look at America's structure like it kind of makes you feel dumb for owning anything here in this country because it's never you're never finished. You pay
Right.
for the house, can you continuously pay the taxes? No, we're going to take your house that you spent 35 years paying into. It's
Yeah.
very insane.
Right. It's very insane. But just yeah. But yeah, if I could find a way, if there's a way, a surefire way that
Mhm,
I could like have somebody like in case the inevitable happens, whether peacefully or
mhm,
not, if somebody could take this work, keep it, they pass it down,
mhm.
keep passing it down and use it the right way, then that
Like
that
I
would
don't I don't know the legal wording for that. I know like in
maybe
property. What do you
yeah,
say?
with property, maybe with property
With
like a
property is
trust
like
or
a trust, but I
right.
don't know if you could do the same thing with art mediums and photography, but definitely look into that, set it up so you can have a peace of mind because I don't I hate when our work falls into the wrong people's hands and I know they
Yeah,
didn't appreciate the artists when they were here. But I
yeah.
don't want to crunch it too tight. So I'm gonna keep going because I know I can
Yeah,
sit
keep
here and
going.
talk to you
Keep
all
going.
day.
Keep going. Keep going.
So
Listen.
okay. All right. So I want you to fill in the blank on this. If I knew how important blank was earlier in my career, my photos would have been way better now.
If I knew how,
Important blank was earlier in my career, my photos would have been way better now. It's an honesty moment.
yeah, it is. And it's crazy because I take everything serious.
Hmm.
Because even early in my career, I took everything. I like even down to the science of it. I took seriously.
Hmm.
Like I didn't leave any stone unturned. I would say sleep,
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 and it's still a work in progress for him.
sleep, sleep. Because that's the one thing I neglected in my
Okay.
career. Sleep.
Okay.
Not saying that the work isn't better, but
Yeah.
there's always another level.
Yeah,
But
like a black
sleeping,
man self care. Yes.
Yeah, so slick.
Okay. All right. I know that you studied photography in high school, and this is a personal question for me. Did your teacher, your art teacher, ever allow you to make a shoebox camera? I asked you
No.
this. Okay, so when I was in high school, I went to high school. I went to three different high schools, but the last high school I went to was in Gwinnett, and the art teacher there, she had a dark room. And a part of our project was to make a shoebox camera where we took a regular standard size shoebox and we made a shutter window. It had like I want to say quarter length
It had a
of,
bellows.
huh?
It had a bellows.
Yes. And we put like like a shutter in there, and we would take it outside and make our own like pictures depending on what challenge she wanted to give us. We would go to the showroom and process the photo like how you're
Mhm.
supposed to. When I tell you that type of teaching is way better than just sitting in the classroom and being told shit.
You're
I value
okay.
that so much because I would write myself passes to
Yeah,
just go do art and be in the dark room, and it was like its own place in the school, and it was
right.
quiet as shit. It was dark and people were in there working. I'm just like, yeah, this is amazing.
So, so we didn't get to do the shoebox thing because
Yeah.
there was a camera ready for it. It's called
Okay.
the four. It's called the 4x5 camera.
Okay.
So because again, like the way photography like was structured
Mhm.
in the school, it was like college. So
Mhm.
you do your regular studies and
Mhm.
then integrate it into like your program. Like okay, you got English in the morning, you got photography in the afternoon. So
Mhm.
because the 4x5 camera was there, I guess the teacher we had didn't. He felt like we didn't have to like do the shoebox thing, but the process still like we did. I did not. When I tell you, I did not touch a digital camera
Mhm.
like for photography until I left high school.
Mhm.
Like he made us go get, like we had to go purchase um our own 35 millimeter cameras. Or like if we didn't have the money, he had a few that he would like loan us for the semester. We
Mhm.
had to buy our own film
Mm.
for everything for every format camera we shot. We had to buy our own film. Even before then, you had to be like the first 3 weeks was dedicated to the science and the math because in order to before we went digital, you had to
Mhm.
understand science and the math of not only making the picture
Mhm.
but also the chemistry in the dark room. Because if you fuck that up,
Yeah, we learned that.
so it was like 3 weeks of doing science and math in regards to making the picture
Mhm.
and as well as the chemistry. So and then if you didn't pass that, if you didn't pass those specific
Mhm.
topics, you weren't touching the camera until you got
And you
next.
shouldn't.
Right. So there we had multiple sheets and
Mhm.
there was quizzes and it was like stacked paper exams on like the chemistry,
Mhm.
on studying, on correlating shutter speeds, apertures, and um, light sensitivity, which we call ISO. Like
Yeah.
so, like the first, and then once we mastered that,
Okay.
then we got into, and this is for high school. So then we got into the picture making, understanding what a frame is,
Mhm.
um, understanding how light travels on the camera,
Mhm.
all that good stuff. Once we mastered that,
Mhm.
then it's like, all right, now I can go out and make pictures, and then we fill in the blanks of like photographers you should study, blah blah blah, and then going in the dark room. So and same in college, they went back. All right, we're gonna we're gonna go into cameras. We're gonna go into the science and math part even more in
Mhm.
depthly, so you understand your craft, you understand the science of your craft.
Mhm.
So then when I ask you to go do certain things, you understand how to do them, like making a test strip, um, to understand if your chemistry is good or not. Making test prints using going in the dark room and using something as simple as like cardboard to add contrast to your pic when you're printing.
Mhm.
So like when I man, even learning that at high school, like we like everything was was hands on. Every bit of what we learned in photography
Mhm.
was hands on. I'm not sure if they teach film nowadays, but I know in high school it was ran like a college course. I went the college classes I went through where it was like you learn the ins and outs of photography on a philosophical standpoint, on a art standpoint, on a
Mhm.
science and math standpoint. Like by the time you were done, you could teach this
And
thing with
that's why I feel like they gave you the trade credit.
yeah.
You know
So
what I'm
that
saying? Because
oh and
where you
then
gonna get this from?
right and also they added in the video part. Now the video part I studied on my own due to being in a documented
Mhm.
filmmaking uh, program outside the school. So I came in already knowing Adobe Premiere. Like it got to the point in high school where the teacher, like the teacher I had, because she was supposed to teach the class,
Mhm.
Avid. It's more complicated program.
I had Avid in high school.
So this is what she did. Instead of teaching the class it, she throws the book at me because I knew Adobe Premiere uh, more than anybody. Like I came in already knowing Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
She's like, I want you to study this book and teach it to the class.
Mm.
You got 3 weeks to understand this program and teach it to your classmates. I'm not
Did you
teaching.
get anything extra for that? Damn.
I like listen. I passed the class with flying colors.
Of course you did.
Yeah, like I didn't have to take an exam or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that was my exam. Because again, when I came to class, first thing she had, who knows Adobe Premiere? The only one that knew it front to back. She was like, all right, because the way um the video production teacher she set up the class, she was like she set it up as a team. So
Mhm.
you had your people operate the camera, you had your script writers, you had your editors, whatever.
Mhm.
So because I was already doing that on the outside, she was like, you know Adobe Premiere? I was like, yeah, I could give me something, I'll edit it and I'll show you. She gave me something, I edited it to perfection. She's like, all right, you the class editor. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. While I teach the rest of the class, she's like, all right, cool. You you already know it, so I ain't gotta teach you much. Just sharpen your. I just gotta sharpen little things,
Mhm.
blah blah. So second semester came around, she's like, yeah, study Av, thick ass book. She's like, I want you to know that, and I want you to know it. I want you to study this program. In 3 weeks, you got to teach it. You got to teach the rest of your classmates. When I tell you this lady did nothing for our class, but she just gave us the projects. This is the project I want you to do.
Yeah.
When you edit it, hey, you want to learn Avid? You better go talk to him. Showing everybody in the we had like this we had like this editing room. It's an editing room slash stage,
Mhm.
and everybody just came to me. Yo, can you edit my? I was like, I'm gonna show you how to edit this. Blah, blah, blah. Like all I got from that class was straight A's because, like, again, I came in with the not, but uh, yeah, that's like everything was hands on. Like that's all. That's why I still remember my craft because the way I got taught, everything was
It's a
hands on.
skill. It's like
Yeah,
I did it with my hands. I didn't have to read it in a book. But two
right.
things. The reason why I love Belly is not just because Nas is in it and it's like a Jamaican culture in it, but when I tell you the way I watched and rewatched the Hype Williams commentary
Yeah,
of like